Okay. All right, so if it's at the beginning of a sentence, it's a participial phrase, describes your subject, you gotta have a comma there. And they give you an example. Holding allegiance to no particular nation. Holding is your present participle. The whole phrase describes pirates. Okay? Your subject, you need a comma after nation. Long introductory prepositional phrases. Now, I'm going to comment on this just a little bit. Number one, yes, at least they give us a rule. The rule is prepositional phrases of 5 words or more. Okay? I think that's arbitrary. 5 words. Why isn't it 4? Why isn't it 6? But at least they do give us a rule, okay, to go by. Or 2 or more back-to-back prepositional phrases. So if I were to have something like, okay, even if this were to be separated with and, I would put a comma there. Okay? And I'm just going to tell you right now, if I have a 3-word prepositional phrase, sometimes 2, when I'm writing, I'm putting a comma after it. If it's at the beginning. Okay? For the test purposes, for testing purposes, this is your rule. Okay? To me, and you guys had a rule in elementary if you went here, every time you would pause naturally in a sentence, you put a comma. And if I said, by the way, blah, 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 I'm putting a comma after by the way, because I'm pausing there if I say it, right? In your writing, I certainly wouldn't count a comma along there. But that's our rules. In the Battle of New Orleans, and that's kind of like on board above deck. You have 2, neither one of them is 5 words or more, they're each 3 words, but 2 back to back, you put a comma. Introductory number words, first, second, third, finally, last, whatever, commas. Even though it's just 1 word if it's at the beginning. Introductory adverb clauses, okay? We did this in our clause chapter. If it's an adverb clause at the beginning of a sentence, it gets a comma. Whether it's necessary to meaning or not, it gets a comma. Now, what if I were to do this? What if I were to put, look at your book here, I'm trying to save us time and not give you guys a bunch of stuff to do at home besides your LMS stuff. The Barbary pirates attacked and raided ships in the Mediterranean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean before they were defeated in the Tripolitan War. So if I flip this and I put the dependent clause at the end, would I put a comma there before the word before? No. Good, Caitlin. Caitlin's over there shaking her head no. Okay? If it's at the beginning, it gets it gets a comma whether it's necessary to meaning or not. Okay? This one is necessary to meaning, it still gets a comma, it's at the beginning of the sentence. When it goes to the middle or the end, it only gets a comma if it's not necessary to the meaning of your sentence. Okay? So if this were flip-flop, there would be no comma before the dependent clause, before the word before at the end, okay? Other introductory elements, okay? Modifiers of the sentence as a whole. This is a dependent clause, it's an adverb clause, I don't know why they separate this. Although we consider it a part of the past, okay, comma. And then after attacking, this word has a gerund in it. If there is a phrase at the beginning of your sentence, gerund, infinitive, or participle, put a comma after it, okay? All right.
Do you want us to just put the commas after all the prepositional phrases? Like, or do you want us to do the 5?
Go ahead for in here, and again, when you write paper for me, I'm good if you put it after every single one at the beginning. Not at the middle or the end, but at the beginning. For this, let's just go by the rule, here's why. When we go and do the achievement tests, there may be something on there that applies to this rule. So I want you to know the rule. We'll do them this year, Lord willing.
Did we do it last year?
We did not do them last year because when we were scheduled to do them last year, we were at home.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And those the rules for those are very clear, just like with SATs and ACTs, there has to be a teacher, a proctor present to give them. You can't just willy-nilly do them on your own. Because there are very honest people who would do the same as if there were a teacher present. There are also very dishonest people that would look up everything and get all the answers, and instead of, if it's supposed to take 60 minutes, they'd take 2 hours, and it wouldn't matter to them. Okay, so yeah, that's why we didn't do this last year. Okay, but 12-8, skip 12-7. Sorry if you already did some of it, you can check with me if it's right, I'm good with that. If you already did it, it's extra practice, it certainly won't hurt you. 4 corrects on 12-8 out of 10. 4 corrects on 12-8. You are only looking for introductory stuff, whether it needs a comma or not. Only on 12-8, it's not any of the rules we already covered, it is just introductory stuff here, okay? 4 of them are correct, the other 6 need a comma somewhere.
So it always begins in sentence?
On this particular exercise, yes, absolutely.